In this episode, we're going to get this car ready for its MOT. If you've watched the last episode, you'll have seen it do its first start. There are a few more jobs left to do, and then we can take it in for its MOT. So let's get started on those. Obvious job we've got to do here is refit the rad pack, put the new hoses on. I then have vacuum filler to refill the coolant. If we come round on both sides, we've got lower ball joint, inner and outer to fit, torque up to spec, reconnect the steering, fasten the anti-roll bars. We've got a new fuel filter to go in there, the cover for the intercooler to go back on. On the exhaust, I think I've got a few of the clamps, wherever they are. There's one. Got a few clamps that just need tweaking a little bit. I'm also going to go around and bleed the brakes, just because the clutch, when I did the clutch, the stuff that came out of there was just horrible. And then, in theory, the car is ready for its MOT. So we've got a little bit of a job list to work through, but we'll get it done. Quick update on progress so far. The suspension is pretty much fully torqued up now. There's just the track rod ends to sort. I think this needs winding in a little bit, so I've just got some additional measurements to do. I've had the stereo out. I've wired up the antenna amplifier. I'm now picking up classic FM, but more importantly, I've put a DAB aerial in, and that seems to be tuning in quite nicely. And then we now have the rad pack reinstalled, and I'm going to go through and use a vacuum filler to try and fill the system without needing to necessarily bleed it later. So let's get on with that bit. The first step is to create vacuum, which I've done just below the 0.6 mark. All it is the hose connected to here. You open up this tap, it creates a vacuum, and you can see by the pipes down here that vacuum is in place. So we'll now leave it for 5-10 minutes and see if it drops. Well, in the true style of the gift that keeps on giving, the vacuum pipe or the vacuum system isn't holding a vacuum on the coolant. So I think I'm going to have to get hold of a pressure tester and try it the other way, put pressure and then just absolutely smother it in soapy water, see where the bubbles come from. I'll go and have a look for one of those then. So while I wait for Amazon to deliver the pressure tester kit, I thought I'd take a look at why this window isn't working. In particular, isn't dropping and popping up. I suspect that has something to do with it. I'm just trying to work out how to get access to plug it back in and where it should be routed to. But the door card was held in with a wood screw, which went somewhere here. In fact, I think it actually went there. So yeah, it went there. Nice, just about missing the tweeter cable, I think. Yeah, just about missed the tweeter cable. But yeah, not ideal, so I'll need to get some proper fixings and sort this out. Once I've worked out exactly where that plug goes. It feels like it should be on top, but looking at the Pelican document on replacing these, it might be on the back. So yeah, just keep studying and keep trying. So I've removed the speaker just to give a bit more access. This is indeed the connector for the wire for the window regulator, window motor. If we look up here, yeah, somebody's bodged something. Further up, I don't know if I can capture it from inside, but essentially the connector that's up here, I don't know if this has got the wrong motor from a previous change of regulator and everything. I don't know if I want to uncover whatever it is that's behind that tape, but the fact that the window isn't dropping when you open the door, and that means it's at risk of slamming and smashing when you close it. The other thing is this front side of the window in particular is quite wobbly. So I don't know. The gift that keeps on giving, this Mini, definitely for sure. So let's keep working on it and see what I can work out. The pressure tester arrived last night. It was a bit late to do anything with it, but I have put the pressure tester on today. I've gone to 5 psi mainly because when I tried to go much higher than that, this popped off. So I suspect this is probably going to need replacing in the near future. It is losing a little bit of air pressure very slowly. I have already got my soapy water, sprayed everything that I've disturbed, and I can't see any bubbles appearing. The only thing I can think is the flange on the down here where the supercharger water pump goes onto the engine block. I couldn't find torque settings for that, so maybe I need to go and have another look and double check that's torqued correctly. So it's taken a little bit, but the pressure's been holding now for 20 minutes or so. Turns out that this clip down here was just allowing a little bit of air coming through, so once changed the soapy fluid for some of the Karcher stuff, it was immediately visible. So I'm going to give this a go with the airline and the vacuum feeder now. We have a result. We are now holding the vacuum. It's been like that for at least 5 minutes now. So what I'm going to do is pop this connector off like that. I'll connect the hose, drop it into some coolant, open the valve, and fingers crossed we can get it refilled. I might not be an auto electrician, but I think I've found the problem with this window regulator. Done a little bit of diagnostics. I'm getting 12 volts here, which is the default plug. I wasn't getting 12 volts here. Now, this was all twisted and taped, so I've put, may not be any better, but I think old school wise chocolate blocks are. And it's now time to uncover what on earth is behind here. Found the problem. This it looks as though they've attempted to solder it. But it would appear that the cable's just got too hot. And actually the insulation has slightly melted. And if I put a continuity test from sort of this bit here where my finger is, I get nothing. But if I move the end point to here, I can actually get a continuity throughout the length of the cable. So it looks as though this is why my window is no longer working. So I've replaced all those connectors now and plugged in the window motor, and I can now open and close the door and have the window drop. So that is a result because I can actually get in the car and drive it now. I'm sure people in the comments are going to ask me why I didn't use a Wago connector, why I used one of those, I don't know them as chocolate block connectors. Simple answer is I had that. I don't have any Wago connectors. If I had the Wago connectors, I probably would have gone that route. But at least window works and operates. I don't need to spend more money. So I can finish putting the door card back on and try and get it on better than it came off. And we can move on and go further with this project. Just as another update from last night, after I vacuumed the coolant system, I was able to just reconnect the hose to the solenoid, if you like. That then filled up the system. I got a good 5+ litres of coolant in there and ran it up to temperature. Happy days. No sign of overheating, no sign of coolant loss. So we can carry on, get the front end finished, get the steering finished, and get the car down on all four wheels and take it for an MOT. We have the door card back on. I've replaced a few of the little clips that were behind, so it's actually sitting now a lot better than it was. Just need 1 and 2 screws. At the moment I've only got the one in this top one, and I'll probably pick up at some point the little piece of trim that goes around the tweeter and door handle. But at least that's jobbed. Window all works, so happy days. I just need to finish, or actually start routing this DAB aerial. That does work, and I now have DAB sound. The FM sound isn't working. I'm going to mount that up there on the windscreen, just in the corner, run it down the A-pillar behind the dash and into the back here. So that should be a nice easy win with maybe half an hour's work or so. And then the last bit we've got before we can actually, oh, I forgot, fuel filter still needs to be done. I do need to put the heat shield and the intercooler cover back on. But the last thing I need to do before putting the wheels on is properly refit this. I think I need to count on the other side the number of threads, or measure the number of threads and come the same on this side. Tighten it up. Like I say, it's only got to get to the MOT station, which is less than a mile from here, and then they can track it as part of the MOT. The best part about fixing that window, it didn't cost a penny. I was getting ready to throw a new window regulator in, but just by going through and eliminating everything, checking I had the voltage to the plug, both plugs, being able to do that just meant I've not actually had to spend the either 30 quid or 90 quid, it seems they vary rapidly or drastically, to repair it. It was a free fix on this Mini. Winning. A little bit more progress. Head unit is kind of installed. We've got the DAB aerial tucked up over there out of the way. It's not visible from the screen. Cables run down the A-pillar, behind the dash, underneath and then in. So at least we've got some music now, which is a good start. But we know this car is the gift that keeps on giving. And going through, checking a few things over, you know, we needs the MOT, so we need to make sure wipers are working, washers are working, lights are working, all the suspension we know is fine, and we get one slight problem. Washer jets. Thought, nice easy one. Pull the lever, you can see the wipers kick in, nothing comes out. Yes, there is fluid in the washer bottle all the way down. I've checked, I'm getting voltage to the motor, but I don't hear this spin at all, so I'm going to have to order one of those, I think. Switch it off so that the fan doesn't drain the battery. So yeah, I'm going to have to order a new one of these. I'll do that before I refit the bumper, just given that all this arch lining is a lot easier to get in and out without the bumper attached. For more joy, a little bit more delay. It's a few days later, it's been a bit of a faff, but we now have a new Febby washer pump. So let's go and get this fitted so we can hopefully get an MOT. First thing we needed to do was drain the reservoir here. So the easiest way I found to do that was disconnect this, this is actually the hose from the supercharger kit, which I didn't use because I didn't realise I was meant to, straight into screen wash bottle. I've just got hanging from there just to save me having to hold it. So now I need to pop that out. Apparently it just pulls out, disconnect the back hose and reconnect it all. And it's never simple. I'm aware that the washer pump has been superseded. If you look up the BMW part number, it's been superseded. But the issue I have is in the old tank, or in the tank, this bit sits on the outside of the car. On the new part, if we look at it, it actually sits behind, and there just isn't the clearance to get it into the bottle. So I'm going to have to, other than throw it about, I'm going to have to try and work out if I can rotate it 90 degrees. Maybe I can rotate the bottom 90 degrees, I don't know. Let's have a look. I've spent far too much time looking into this now. I've gone through, I've decided to replace the washer bottle. I looked and I couldn't find the original part as new. Everything was secondhand at 20 years old. I don't know how long one of those would last. So my thinking was, if I replace the bottle with the newer one in 10 years time, if I needed to replace the washer pump again with the newer pump, I can replace it. I'm going to end this episode here while I wait for that to turn up, which should be a couple of days. So I will catch you in the next one, when hopefully this will be MOT'd and fingers crossed back on the road. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment. Any words of encouragement are always appreciated. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.